I know the H-1B very well, and it's something that I frankly use, and I shouldn't be allowed to use. We shouldn't have it. Very, very bad for workers.
As we speak, we're finalizing H-1B regulations so that no American worker is replaced ever again.
Did you change your mind on H-1B visas, sir?
I didn't change my mind. I've always felt we have to have the most competent people in our country. We need competent people.
Well, I guess it turns out when you read the fine print, America First really depends on Elon's approval.
When the Republican Party says they're taking our jobs, and then you have the President of the United States coming in, the President-elect Donald Trump, who is a Republican, saying, yeah, I agree with you. They are taking your jobs and they shouldn't. And then Elon calls them up and basically says, no, you do like this. Oh, yes, I do like it.
Well, maybe.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
If you haven't been on the hillside, formerly known as Twitter recently, you might have missed the MAGA civil war that's unfolded, with keyboard warriors from both sides vowing to see who's right in their bigotry.
For the far right over immigration, Elon Musk is now going after the hardliners, the very heart of the MAGA base, labeling them just a few hours ago as, quote, contemptible fools. The most staunch MAGA cult followers recently took issue with statements made by Vivek Ramaswamy, echoed by Elon Musk on the matter of H-1B visas.
Well, first of all, I think, and I know the H-1B very well, and it's something that I frankly use, and I shouldn't be allowed to use. We shouldn't have it. Very, very bad for workers. And second of all, I think it's very important to say, well, I'm a businessman and I have to do what I have to do, and it's sitting there waiting for you, but it's very bad. It's very bad for business in terms of, it's very bad for our workers, and it's unfair for our workers, and we should end it.
You're totally right. And think of the irony here, Rachel. They shipped all their good manufacturing jobs overseas and said, we'll teach them to code. Now it turns out, no, actually, we're going to import people to do the coding.
Right, exactly.
But it wasn't until President-elect Donald Trump weighed in on the matter that voters came to realize the hardline immigration enforcer was selling them BS. Now, who would have thought the self-professed man of God found liable of sexual assault, married 3 times, flogging Bibles for $60 a pop wouldn't be straight up with his promises? And as the internet is forever, many shared his previous statements on the H-1B and how it suddenly shifted after his bromance with Elon Musk flourished to the tune of $250 million, of course.
Nobody knows the system better than me.
As we speak, we're finalizing H-1B regulations so that no American worker is replaced ever again. H-1Bs should be used for top, highly paid talent to create American jobs, not as inexpensive labor program to destroy American jobs.
Why did you change your mind on H-1B visas, sir?
I didn't change my mind. I've always felt we have to have the most competent people in our country. We need competent people. We need smart people coming into our country. And we need a lot of people coming in. We're going to have jobs like we've never had before.
But sir, you said you changed your...
The thing is, the subject struck a nerve when even Fox News called out his hypocrisy, pointing out the irony of a man who screams America first at every opportunity, going against the will of his base before he's even stepped foot in the White House.
When the Republican Party says they're taking our jobs, and then you have the President of the United States coming in, the President-elect Donald Trump, who is a Republican, saying, yeah, I agree with you. They are taking your jobs and they shouldn't. And then Elon calls them up and basically says, no, you do like this. Oh, yes, I do like it.
Well, maybe it is a more complex situation than opponents would like to present it as. And maybe we want the best engineers in the world, because if America is going to win the AI race, we're going to need our best people on it. Up next, they don't.
And it's not the first time that Donald Trump has weighed in on a matter only after Elon had already voiced his opinion. It wasn't until days into an impending shutdown argument over a spending bill that Elon Musk opposed, after of course being elected and put in office by, well, not a single soul, Trump decided to jump in and agree, prompting the trending President Musk hashtag.
Hanging by a thread.
Well, first off, I'd like to say thank the Lord God that I am not in Congress anymore. I know this game. They always play this like Christmas deadline stupid game. But look, President Musk this morning made it clear, with all his vast government experience, which is basically he became rich on the federal government, that he doesn't want Republicans to pass this. And seemingly Vice President Trump kind of backed him up then at that point. And what it says about the politics is this is going to be a messy 4 years.
Is it clear to you who Senator Schumer should be calling and negotiating with at this point? Is it Speaker Mike Johnson? Is it Donald Trump? Is it Elon Musk?
Let me say this one more time. There is no one for Leader Schumer to negotiate with. The Republicans can't get their own act together. And until they can, there's nothing for us to do. We have a deal. There's a deal sitting on the table. You know what? The Republicans right now could go back over there and vote, send the deal that had been negotiated, which would pass because it would have bipartisan support, send it over to the Senate. I predict it would pass the Senate and we would be done. Crisis averted. But the Republicans would rather have a crisis, would rather blow this up because they're all doing whatever the great and powerful Mr. Musk wants them to do.
Do you think there's going to be a government shutdown?
Ask Elon Musk.
Which, you know, had the Mar-a-Lago walls lathered in ketchup when he said this in a public stage.
And he got over 2,000 units. It's a lot. And they flooded it with Starlink, and it was so good. It saved a lot of lives, so we want to thank him. But no, he's not going to be president, that I can tell you. And I'm safe. You know why? He can't be. He wasn't born in this country.
And the thing is, wherever you stand on the matter of visas, right, the point is more so how easily Trump sways his opinion based on who he's trying to appease, which 99% of the time is never the voters who worship at his feet.
And you can have the American dream, because you don't have the American dream without a car for your kids, etc.
Finding an affordable car might get even more difficult for Americans as new import tariffs on Mexican-built vehicles could drive prices higher. According to a report from the Wall Street Journal, nearly 1/3 of vehicles sold in the United States for under $30,000 are built in Mexico, and that includes popular models like the Nissan Sentra and Ford Maverick. That number has grown significantly over the last decade as automakers rely on Mexico to lower production costs for smaller, more affordable cars. President-elect Donald Trump has vowed to impose 25% tariffs on vehicles and parts imported from Mexico and Canada. Analysts say those costs will likely be passed on to all of you and all of us, making already priced-in budget cars more difficult to afford. The potential tariffs could also impact lower-priced SUVs and auto parts, meaning higher costs for both manufacturers and car buyers across the United States.
The new report about the U.S. car industry having a big case of anxiety about the president-elect's proposed 25% tariff on imports from both Mexico and Canada. Finding an affordable car in the U.S. has already become a challenge for many budget-constrained Americans. New import tariffs on Mexican-built vehicles threaten to make the problem worse.
But the other 1%.
Tesla, his electric vehicle company, shot up after the election. The company is now worth 25 times what General Motors is worth. He's obviously counting on government policy to help him keep out Chinese imports, put in other EV regulations that will favor Tesla, and so buyers are buying it. SpaceX only does its valuation twice a year because it's not publicly traded. But what's happened since the election is it's raised some more money at a value that is 67% higher than what it raised it at just 6 months earlier. SpaceX obviously is heavily dependent on government contracts and government support for its launches. Now a $350 billion company, the most valuable private company in the world. His net worth has gone up 135% since the election, $276 billion. He's now worth $480 billion.
He could he not have the power to say, pull federal funding or pull federal contracts from a competing EV company, for example?
Hey, Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.